Do you want to have an elevated premiere experience, or do you want more of an just an intimate conversational feel? Should your event feel super high energy and bold, or do you want it to be grounded and transformational? What do you want your attendees to feel as they walk in? Welcome back to Creating Powerful Impact. I'm your host, Shay Wheat, and today we're going to dive into one of the most critical and often underestimated aspects of live event production. It's your audio visual setup. Now, here's the thing. AV isn't just about having the big screens and like the booming sound systems. It's really about crafting an experience that amplifies your message, keeps your attendees engaged, and leaves lasting impressions. So, whether you're working with a six-figure production budget or you're looking to keep things pretty lean, I'm going to show you how to maximize your AV setup, choose the right partners, and avoid the common and honestly costly mistakes that can derail your event. So let's get into it. When people think about AV, they often picture, like I said, the massive LED walls, the concert style lighting, and the high energy introduction music. But AV is really about two key elements. One, the audio, the sound experience at your event, how people can hear the energy, the music, the sensory experience. And the second is the visual. What are attendees seeing? It's the stage design, it's the branding, it's the lighting, it's the screens, and the overall look and feel of the event. So if you're looking for a pro tip here, great AV is not about size or budget. It's all about intentionality. Now, we've produced events that we've spent $150,000 on AV, and we've produced events where we've spent $5,000 or less, and both delivered super incredible experiences because we were super clear on what we wanted the event to feel like for the attendees. Now, before you pick an AV team or you sign any contracts, you absolutely need to define the experience you want to create. So, for example, when we were designing Lisa Nichols' Speak to Write to Make Millions events, we knew we wanted to create an environment that blended transformation, inspiration, and tactical business growth. So, what this meant is the lighting and the stage design that felt really inviting and warm, not as much corporate or cold. The audio was clear, it was powerful, and we wanted it to be super immersive so that every word Lisa spoke really just landed super deeply. And we also wanted an overall atmosphere that made attendees feel like they were stepping into a high level mastermind, but it still felt like home. And if you know Lisa, like that's very on brand for her. And so, really, this intentionality is what made Speak and Write to Make Millions such a transformational event. The attendees walked away not just inspired, but changed. So, you want to be asking yourself, do you want to have an elevated premiere experience, or do you want more of an just an intimate conversational feel? Should your event feel super high energy and bold, or do you want it to be grounded and transformational? What do you want your attendees to feel as they walk in? These are all three highly questions that we like to ask. And your AV choices should support your event's emotional journey. Because we've all been to the events where the AV doesn't work and the mic's not working and somebody's going, is this thing on? Can you hear me? And it takes you out of the experience. And we don't want that. We don't want the lights flickering all over the place. We don't want things moving all the time and it pulls the attention away. So we want to be super intentional about where we want to take our clients and our attendees on this journey. So honestly, like AV can make or break it, right? Choosing the right AV team is one of the most important decisions you'll make, and it'll be one of the probably the third big decision you'll make. First one is finding an event production team like ourselves. Second is having that event production team find the venue, and then finding the AV team. But when you're making this decision, there are really three ways that you want to handle AV. And you want to be asking yourself, are you, one, utilizing your own equipment? And this works if you have already your own high quality gear, but it is going to be a pretty big investment. Number two is, are you looking to hire an external AV company? Now, when you do something like that, it really offers a lot more creativity and customization, and there's a little bit more cost flexibility. Or are you looking to utilize the venue's AV? Now, with this option, it is often the most expensive and the least flexible option. And honestly, 98, probably 99% of the time, I do not recommend this option. The only time I would is if you are doing a very, very small event and you're only looking for like a screen and projector, then you might want to go with the venue's AV. But I tend to always bring in my own AV teams because one, they actually can understand what we're doing and are tailored to you. When you go with a venue's AV, they're just doing it as another gig. They don't really care about the outcome of what it is that you're looking to do and the transformation you're looking to make. But regardless, a key point here is you want to make sure you are absolutely reading the fine print. Especially when you're looking at the venues and when you're doing your venue negotiations. Some venues require that you use their AV teams, and they do that at, sadly, inflated rates. So you want to always negotiate AV terms before signing a venue contract. We've personally seen AV liaison fees where they're going to charge you $750 plus, meaning tax and gratuity on top of the $750. That's adding a good 35% on top. And that's for load in and load out. So you're getting it charged twice. That's like over $2,000 just to potentially have their in-house AV team watch your AV team bring in equipment in and out of the venue. Frankly, it's kind of robbery in my opinion, but I digress. You probably are asking yourself, okay, great. Now how do I choose the right AV team? Well, the way I look at it is I'm really looking to find a partner. I'm not just finding a vendor. We want to be looking for a team that's open to creativity and not just following some type of standard template. And I'm also looking to build long-term relationships. So when you work with the same team across multiple events, they really start to understand your brand vision, honestly, just making the execution so much smoother every time you do an event. So, in my opinion, the best AV teams don't just set up the equipment, they help you design the entire experience. And that's really what you want, is you want them to be a part of your overall team and the experience. So real quick, I had a client who he came to me, he had an idea the night of day one of the event that he wanted to bring in 350 It's It ice cream sandwiches for the next afternoon. And somehow we ended up like making it happen. How we made it happen is a story for another day. But when we brought them into the room, The AV team, without my direction, started to play I don't know if you guys remember the ice cream truck song, just at like the perfect time. And it totally helped set the stage for that entire surprise and delight. It was just absolutely magical. So that's why we like to work with teams that are really in it and want to have an experience and want to work with you long term. So they get to know you, they get to know your audience, they get to know what songs and what energy and feel is behind it. It's not just a rote, like, let me press a button because you need music right now because we're going on break. It's picking the right music, right? And obviously you have those meetings ahead of time, but they intuitively start to do that with you. Now, once you've chosen your AV team, here's how to structure your planning process just to ensure that everything runs super smooth. The first step is you want to take a look at the creative planning session. Before anything else, sit down with your AV team and map out the vision for your event. If you have a certified event producer, they will be the one that will most likely pull that out of you ahead of time, and then they can have those meetings on your behalf. But you're going to want to be deciding on the screen placements, the stage setup, the lighting design, the audio needs. Are you doing handheld microphones? Are you doing the throwable microphones, the speakers, the music cues, like all of the audio needs? And then any special effects. Are you doing smoke machines? Are you doing countdown timers? Are you doing walk-on music? And what does that look like? Especially if you're a client that likes to have a lot of videos, and how are those videos being created? Are they creating it? Do you already have a team that's creating it? Sometimes AV teams can jump in and support that piece as well. But this is where you really get to dream big and establish a real clear vision for the event. The second step is the AV mockup and approval. So then your AV team will typically provide 3 to 5 visual mockups of different setups. And this is where you can then go and, select your preferred setup, adjust the elements to match your budget, and then finalize all the tech and stage design details. And finally, step 3 is the budget and the payment strategy. we got to come back to the budget. AV can be one of the largest expenses of your event, so you want to structure payments wisely, especially if you're looking to do hybrid, because that's going to include a lot more AV equipment. If you are wanting to do a whole nother team for AV and have an experience for those online, which is going to be a little bit different than those in person because you've got bigger gaps. So if you're only doing a 30-minute in-person break, a 30-minute virtual break is not going to support people sticking around. You're going to need to do like a 15-minute break and then 15 minutes of engagement with the virtual audience, right? So you want to be thinking about that too. So budget. I suggest avoid paying 100% upfront. Instead, you want to go ahead and split the payments into different milestones. So you can do, and everything is negotiable, right? You can do 30% upfront, 30%, 10 days prior or 5 days prior pre-event, and 40% post-event. This just supports in minimizing the risk and also allows for flexibility in taking a look at how your numbers are coming in, especially like if the ticket sales are coming in right before the event. You don't want to spend all of the money before they even show up, or you get that cash flow in. And then step number 4 is on-site setup and testing. Nothing kills events, just the energy, faster than an AV issue. So your must do's before every day is you've got to run a full sound check of every mic and every speaker. You've got to test all the visuals, the slides, the screens, the transitions. You want to make sure that the lighting is optimized for the room size that you're in. And you need to have a backup plan for tech failures, because tech happens. And so you're, going to need some extra mics, some cables, presentations saved in multiple places. Even in the virtual space, you need to have tech backups. We just did an event yesterday, and 10 minutes before the end of the event, my computer went down. And so I had a backup laptop that I could easily get back in and still communicate with the team and still move things forward, right? So tech in all areas can fail at any point in time, and sometimes for no reason at all, right? So as a pro tip, you want to always have an AV checklist just to track every piece of equipment and test it before you open the doors. And that's especially important if you are running all of your own AV and bringing in your own equipment versus having an outside team come in. Okay, so that's all the planning and pre things to think about. Now, maybe we need to also take a look at some common AV mistakes and how to avoid them. I've participated in events where they've not tested the acoustics. So every venue has different sound dynamics. So you need to test your audio in the actual event space ahead of time. Another common AV mistake is forgetting about the sight lines. So if attendees can't see the stage or the screens, the engagement drops. So you want to make sure you're using raised screens, and if you can, tiered seating for, larger rooms. And so you want to play with those pieces of it so they can actually see either the stage itself or at least the screen. Another mistake I see on AV is overlooking the Wi-Fi strength. Oh, Wi-Fi. Never assume the venue's Wi-Fi can handle live streams or virtual components. Test it beforehand, have backups, invest in backups. Super important. You don't want half or 2/3 of your audience gone because the Wi-Fi drops. And also want to take a look at, having some hardwire lines too. Another common AV mistake is not having any backup plans at all. Like I said, equipment fails. Always have the extra mics, the cables, the backup slides ready to rock and roll. Don't plan on downloading things from the internet. Download them ahead of time. That's a huge one. Because then you just get the wheel of death, and nobody wants that. And then lastly, if your venue is a hotel or it's near an airport, you want to make sure that you have a super clear channel so you're not getting feedback from the airport signals. We've had that happen before. So you have to change the channel so you're not getting all of those feedback things. So with that said, great AV isn't about spending more. It's really about creating the right experience for your audience. And before you finalize your AV for your event, you want to make sure you're asking yourself these 3 things. What experience do I want my attendees to have? Is my AV setup enhancing that experience? And do I have the right team in place to execute my vision? So if you want to grab more event production insights and a free checklist for planning your next event, go ahead and head on over to eventfreegift.com. And if you found today's episode valuable, take a second to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps more entrepreneurs like you to create profitable events. Until next time, keep creating powerful impact. And I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag creating powerful impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.